Okay, we're back on the same balcony, different angle. I get to sit on an actual chair this time. Guys, I feel like I'm so weird now that I have this little mic. I don't know how to act. I feel like I'm like, hello, let's chat. It's a different vibe. So I feel like I wanted to talk today about postpartum glow up stuff, but because I want to keep it chill here, I'm also going to just chat and hang out with you guys while I do it. So if things just pop in my head, it might not be on topic. It doesn't have to be tip number 1. I don't really care for it to be that specific. I just kind of want to hang out and chat, right? Hey guys, let's just hang out. Okay, although I might say tip number 1. Tip number 1 with my postpartum glow up. No, let's go back a little bit. After having my third baby, I kind of was in the dumpy dumps for a little bit about how I was feeling. And so I made a real concerted effort this time around to do things that would make me feel more beautiful. And so I came up with a few different things that made me feel really good about myself postpartum. And I wanted to share those with you guys because I don't feel like they were particularly a lot of high overhead stuff. It was kind of stuff that just made me feel really good. And maybe the same things could pertain to you. Now, most of these were physical, but I think there's other things you can do mentally to have a postpartum glow up that we can also talk about. And having 3 babies in 4 years, it can be a lot on your body and a lot on you mentally. So trying to find ways to feel really good about yourself while doing all of that is really important. Now, I will say that I've learned a lot about motherhood and kind of this whole concept of losing yourself in motherhood since being a mom of 3, because I feel okay, do we want to get into it? Let's get into it. Motherhood isn't as fulfilling in some ways when it's not your full-time job. And what I mean by that is being a homeschool mom is a full-time job. And so I feel really fulfilled as a mom because I am busy all day with my kids, teaching them, in it with them. I don't know how, I don't have this experience, so I can't really say, but I don't know how fulfilling it would be to be a stay-at-home mom, a full-time stay-at-home mom, if you weren't also homeschooling. Because when your kids aren't around you and you're not responsible for their schooling, their formation in that way, yes, there is an element of being a homemaker that I think I don't get to experience quite as much because I am so busy in it with the kids. So maybe that's where you would find your fulfillment is while the kids were busy at school, you would be really taking care of the home, cooking, cleaning, and that stuff that I have to find in the pockets of time that I'm not just full on in it parenting. But parenting is something that I really think takes a lot of thought and skill and intentionality. Caretaking too, but I will say I think it's in a far less intense way because once you're dealing with character formation of children, you have to be really thoughtful. And there's a reason that I love parenting books. I should do a video on all of the parenting books I've read because, oh my gosh, I have read so many. I love parenting books. I don't treat them as the Bible of parenting. Nothing is this is it and that's done. It's more everything is a tool I can add to my toolbox. And so I've used tips and tricks from a million different books in my method of parenting. And really, I feel crafted and developed it. And it's changing over time as my children are getting older and different things are relevant. Being a good parent requires you to invest a lot of time and energy in the way that you approach your kids and being thoughtful about it. That's fulfilling because it's treating the job of parenting and raising your kids as a job, as a career, something you can improve in, and not just something you have to fight for your life to survive through. Instead, it's how can I learn to be better in this area? How can I best serve my child in this area? And then homeschooling on top of that is a whole other thing. How do I teach my kids in a way that they're going to really learn the best? And how am I going to get them excited about a topic that maybe they're not excited about? Or how am I going to take advantage of this sensitive period that they're really in right now so that they can learn to read or learn to climb or whatever it is? Totally off topic. So going back to the postpartum glow up, first thing I did, or the first thing I want to talk about, is losing the baby weight. I kind of mentioned that in my last video. Losing the baby weight this time around was not easy. I was 4 months postpartum and I was still 20 pounds over my really like 15 pounds over my postpartum weight, or rather pre-baby weight. Is that right? Yeah. So I really had to focus and buckle down. And for me, what that looked like was exercising less, so I was less hungry, and eating less, and focusing on calorie counting, and focusing on like eating the same thing every day. So what I decided to do was that I had been waking up in the morning really hungry, and then if I didn't eat the right things, it was like I didn't eat at all. And then I would get like brain fog or headaches, and I just didn't feel good. So I was like, okay, I need to figure out a way to eat less so that I can lose the weight, but also feel good. And what I kept seeing was front load your day as a breastfeeding mom with protein. Like, get as much protein as you can first thing in the morning. So what I decided to do was get these Fairlife protein shakes. I always make the joke that my weight loss was sponsored by Fairlife and Quest bars. So I got Fairlife protein shakes and I got Quest bars. And so I would start my day with like 45 grams of protein. And I would have my protein shake in a giant cup of coffee. So it was like a lot of liquid that filled me up. And then I would have a Quest bar. And for some reason, that amount of protein was both filling and also gave me a clarity until about noon. And noon, I would have 2 eggs and a 100-calorie English muffin and some fruit. And then if I needed to have snacks throughout the day, it would be like an apple or some sort of vegetable that was, or fruit that was like, got a lot of water in it, so it was filling. And then dinner, I would always just be a little bit more flexible because I was exclusively breastfeeding at the time. So I did have quite a lot of calories to play with. But when you're breastfeeding, you're also hungrier than the amount of calories you have. And my husband, he really likes to eat big dinners. So I curated my diet off of my family's kind of rhythms. And my family's rhythms are big dinners. So I would have a lot less to eat during the day so that I could eat kind of as much as I wanted at night. And then I had some rules. So I would stop eating anything at 8 p.m. I would save 100 calories for like a Yasso bar, which is like a little ice cream bar every night. And if I saw something that was sweet during the day, I would tell myself, okay, well, if I have that, I won't be able to have my Yasso bar at night. And so it let me like beat those sugar cravings, which was great. And sorry for all the crunchies out there, but I had a lot of diet soda because the sugar cravings can hit me hard, and diet soda is sweet and filling. And it was just a really good way for me to beat those cravings. And so I ended up losing over 20 pounds in about 5 months. And that was a really good ego boost. Like going from not being able to fit into my pre-pregnancy clothes to some of those clothes actually kind of like hanging off of me a little more was a really good feeling. I am a huge proponent of, it is your job to take care of your body for your family and for your kids and for any future pregnancies you might want to take on so that you're not starting in a deficit. And also, you kind of owe it to your spouse to try and stay nice looking. Because when you make a commitment to your spouse that you're going to spend your whole life with them, it's nice to also say to them, like, I want to stay attractive for you. By the way, I think that goes both ways. I think husbands should stay attractive for their wives. I think wives should stay attractive to their husbands. Of course, there's going to be times like 4 months of postpartum where you should not be like actively worried about it. But I know many of us feel better when we're at a weight that's healthy for our body. Thank God I really don't struggle with a lot of body issues. Like, I'm just like, yeah, my body has, like I said in my last video, the marks of having babies and making life, and that's beautiful. And I just want to be able to fit into clothes. Like, that's what matters to me, is being able to fit into some of my clothes and feel good in my body. And when I have extra weight on my body, it doesn't feel as good. That was my first thing that I did. There was more to that weight loss, I think, but not too much more. And if you guys have any like specific questions, leave them in the comments of how I lost weight. Oh, I know what I wanted to tell you earlier. I had watched a Jubilee debate, like the Surrounded videos, with, what is her name? The woman from The Biggest Loser. And she was debating body positivity people. And one of the things she said, and I was already into my weight loss at this point, was the concept of mechanistic eating versus intuitive eating. And she said intuitive eating is basically a lie. The idea of intuitive eating is that your body will know when it's full. And it's like none of us are raised in a vacuum. So eating is often an emotional thing. And sometimes if you're eating, 30 bags of Doritos, you're not going to know that you're full, even though you ate thousands and thousands of calories. So mechanistic eating is not a bad thing. Eating the same thing every day and knowing the calories in, calories out is really helpful. And I was like, oh, now I get it, because it felt like so many years I was like, maybe my body will know when I'm full or know when I'm hungry. And it was like, no, your body is still the same body that like cavemen had, where we thought that like we were always going to starve. And so we're constantly hoarding calories, trying to like stay alive as long as possible. But we live in a day and age where calories are so readily available that we then have an obesity epidemic. Intuitive eating doesn't really exist. So it's okay to just eat and not worry about if you still feel hungry sometimes. And that was very, very helpful for me. So that was like one of the first things I did for my postpartum glow up. Another thing, number 2, is I was talking about, again, I talked about this in my last video, kind of touched on all these things. The hair glow up. I really wanted to grow out my hair because after my second son, I cut it all off and I missed my long hair. So I decided I really wanted, but if I was going to have long hair, I wanted it to be healthy. So I started doing the Abby Young method. So I started putting oil in my hair before I showered and bond repair treatments. And I would then use like heat protectants and the right shampoos, like clarifying shampoos, because the water where we live is rather hard and has a lot of minerals. And then using leave-in conditioner. And all of those things, I feel like have made my hair much softer and much stronger. And I mean, I just want to grow it out as long as possible. There's something about soft hair that even if your hair isn't styled, makes a difference. And like my hair is not styled today. By the way, someone tell me in the comments, what do I do? Because the bottom layer of my hair, I don't know if you can see, is like all really, really wavy, really wavy. And then the top is stick straight. And I would be very happy to have one texture or the other, but going with both of those textures feels like my hair can never be left just undone without it looking like I left it undone. So if somebody's got a tip, please let me know. I think it's called Irish waves, to have this stick straight and then wavy on the bottom. I would love to just not have the differentiation. I would love it all to be the same. So if someone has a tip, love to hear it. But just having soft hair feels really luxurious. So even if it's not styled, it's at least still soft. And that is something I worked really hard on. And then skincare. I really didn't like have a skincare regimen before, but more recently I started using the Medicube products on Amazon, and I really like them. It just makes it's like that softness. It makes my skin feel soft. It doesn't feel dry. It doesn't feel scaly. It just feels like healthy. And even though I don't have any fillers, I don't have any Botox, I'm not going for wrinkle-free. I'm just going for hydrated. And that's how my skin feels. It feels good. It feels clean. It feels soft. Those are all things that I'm happy with when I look at my skincare routine. So I can link some of those things if you guys ask me to, with the products I've been using. Okay, so that's 3 things. Number 4, and this is a whole other video, but I decided to become a certified color analyst. And so essentially I got my colors done because I became a certified color analyst. So I figured out what my own colors are. And wearing my colors has made all the difference. Figuring out why certain colors don't look as good on me has made a huge difference. Okay, to be clear, this is a little bit out of my color season. It's a little too bright for me. But I know now that I'm not a winter. I am definitely a dark autumn. I've got a lot of contrast. And so wearing certain colors, even if I'm not wearing makeup, will make me look healthier than if I am wearing a different color, like a light blue, which is my favorite color. If I wear a light blue and I'm wearing no makeup, I also look sick. Whereas if I wear like an olive green and I'm not wearing makeup, I just look like I'm not wearing makeup. I have loved getting my colors done. I would love to do your colors. Do you want to get your colors done? Like, leave a comment down below and you guys can get your colors done. I will message you and we can talk about it. I can virtually analyze you. But getting your colors done really does make a difference. And I thought it was all like nonsense, but it's not. At least knowing your undertone makes a big difference. That was a big one for me. And then number 5 was I got a new pair of glasses. And I used the website Zenni. My sister recommended it to me. And it's like a way cheaper alternative to anything else you could get, especially for someone like me who has really bad vision. I have not had a new pair of glasses in 10 years. And so I decided to get a new pair of glasses. I initially did it wrong. I got like a medium width of the glasses. I have, like I said, bad vision. So if you don't get the thinnest glass, even if you get the medium size kind of thickness, it distorts, and I got the medium size, and so I was like, why is everything blurry except if I look straight ahead? So I got the thinnest glass, and now it's great, and it's so fun to have new glasses. And guys, having new glasses, I like had forgotten that there was a way to wear glasses where it wasn't like the absolute worst alternative to wearing contacts. And so I'm like, maybe I'll get another pair and I'll just like start styling in my glasses. Like maybe I'll just be a glasses girl now. Not all the time. Here's the thing about having bad vision though. There are some people who are nearsighted. And so when they wear glasses, their eyes look bigger and they look super cute when they wear their glasses because having big eyes is the goal, right? I'm farsighted. So I'm like both. I can't see anything, but I guess I would be more farsighted. And so if I wear my glasses, it makes my eyes look smaller. So I don't look as cute, which is sad. And I just have to accept that. But my glasses are really cool, and I got them in my color season. Guys, knowing your color season is so fun. You get like your whole wardrobe redone. So anyways, those have been my postpartum glow up things that have made me feel really good and have made me feel really happy this postpartum period. But if you have had a postpartum glow up, or if there's anything that you did postpartum that made you feel good, share it in the comments below with us. I'm excited to have just sit and chat because we're going to do another one of these videos. Guys, we're going to start chatting more. Chatting is back in. We don't need to have a goal. We can just sit and talk. Okay. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.